With a little bit of talk therapy today. You are listening to the Praise a Go Chip communication station. We're actually streaming live worldwide at 1580thepraise.com, and make sure you click on Listen Now. I am Kimberly B, and before we get started today, make sure that you check me out on Instagram at healthyemotes.com and also Talk Therapy Live. You can also find me on Facebook at Healthy Emotes and my website at healthyemotes.com. All right, so I also want to give a shout out to the Honorable Bishop Marvin C. Bozeman, who is not with me today. I know you all miss him, and I do too. But I have someone else here with me today who I will introduce in just a second. I want to give a shout out to Bishop Mel Griffin as well. Yay! All right, so our topic today is to discuss and describe mental health issues and give you strategies and ideas on how to reduce and manage these symptoms. But before I go on, I want to introduce my very special guest, Miss Isatou Sagnia. Yay!
Thank you, Kim.
Miss Isatou, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, please?
Well, what do you want to know? Do you want to know about my mental health practice, or you want to know about me personally?
Whatever you want the world to know about you. Tell us where you're from, how long you have been practicing, and all that good stuff.
Well, I'm from Jamaica. I've lived in this country most of my life, and I have officially been practicing mental health counseling, oh my goodness, I would say over 40 years.
Over 40 years.
But if I look back, I think I've been practicing mental health counseling all my life.
Is that right? So for you, it's like a calling.
Right. You know, I was the person where the other kids would come to when they have problems.
Me too.
So yeah. I guess...
Hey, walking in the gift before we even knew what it was. Wow. So how long have you been in the States?
I've been in the States 15 years.
Okay. All right. I got you. I want to say hello to Tracy Tompkins and also to Carolyn Oho. Thank you for tuning in. Feel free to chime in. You can ask whatever you want to ask, or you may want to, just interject. So, Miss Isatou, how long have you, in your most, I know you've been practicing for about 40 years now, but tell me, what was your most rewarding experience?
Wow. Well, most of my career, I worked with the chronically mentally ill. That's people that have schizophrenia, schizoaffective disorder, bipolar. And the most rewarding thing was when those people who were responding to the voices and couldn't live by themselves or manage their own money, when they got to the point where they could actually work.
Okay, yeah.
Sometimes the voices were still there, but they could function well enough to live in their own apartment.
I love it.
Yeah. So I know sometimes people say, well, those people are just, pardon expression, I'm going to use the C word, just crazy. They can't do anything.
Right.
But those, with the proper help, they can be very productive and can have a very fulfilled life.
That is correct. So basically what I hear you saying is that mental health treatment works.
Yes.
That's awesome. And we're going to delve into those diagnoses that you just mentioned, the schizophrenia and the bipolar disorder. We're going to talk about that just a little more. But before we do, tell us, what is your favorite population to work with?
Wow, that's a hard choice. I would say the elderly.
Okay.
Well, because they're usually so receptive.
Uh-huh.
And at the other end, children.
So you're on both ends of the spectrum.
Yes.
And talking about children, that's where really you and I met at.
Right, right.
We met taking care of our babies. We worked for an organization where we went into the daycares. We were invited into the daycare centers where the instructors felt these children had behavioral issues. Mm-hmm. So they reached out to us, and we were able to go to various daycare centers throughout the city. And these babies were 3 to 5 years old.
That's right. And Kim, I have to tell you, I ran into one of the mothers of one of those children that this child was so dysregulated. You know, he's now a second grader, mm-hmm. making A's and B's and having no behavioral problem in school.
So just because your child may start out that way, it's no, you don't have to worry about your child ending up that way. You know, mental health treatment works. Intervention actually works. And we're talking about babies who really haven't gotten started in life, like 3 to 5 years old. You know, so definitely there's a stigma about mental health, definitely in the Black community.
Right.
You know, so as you have heard from Miss Isatou, that the growth that has come from this child that she had interactions with. So please, ma'am, please, sir, if you have a child who have behavioral issues, please reach out to someone. But Miss Isatou, to tell you the truth, when I was working for Minority Behavioral Health, I would come home heartbroken.
Yes.
I would because it feels like you take time with the children and you do pour into them. You give them that attention and that nurturing, but then you have to return them back to the mm-hmm. environment, you know, from which they come. It's kind of like, I felt like it was unraveling everything. You know, have you ever felt despondent like that?
Yes, but you know, the thing is, children are wonderful. And sometimes when what you teach them, even though their household is chaotic, they can bring that to their house. You know,
that's good.
Mom, I feel upset. I think I need to do my breathing.
Yes,
you know, and sometimes we were lucky to engage the parents, because lots of time the child's behavior has to do with the environment that they're living in.
Yes.
And sometimes the parents are stressed out because of economics or whatever, mm-hmm. and they take it out on the kids, and they shout at the kids, and the kids shout at each other.
Yes.
And, you know, and no one is to be blamed. It's just life.
It's just life.
Yes.
Because where there's fruits, there's roots. There's a reason why mom is upset. There's mm-hmm. a reason why dad is on edge. Yeah, at the end of the day, it is maladaptive, you know, but there's a reason for it all. But I like what you said, that these children can actually teach the parents.
That's right. That's right. And I want to give a shout out to my daughter and to my friend Louise Cooper. Thanks for checking in.
Yes, thank you for tuning in. Ija Trout is here, and also Gloria Pointer. Feel free to type in anything if you have had experience at this point with your children and with your nieces, nephews, grandchildren who have behavioral issues and things that you may have had difficulty with and or successes as well. This segment is all about helping one another.
Miss Kim, one of the things that I liked about it when we work with the children is that we were right there in the classroom. And you remember when other children who weren't or patient, how they used to come over and say, "Are you here for me?"
Right,
you know,
right. I want you to be my friend too.
And you want to be my friend?
Yeah.
You want to talk to me? Can I do some breathing exercise with you?
Yes.
And we were also helping the teachers, because the teachers could see how we were interacting with the children and what worked.
Yes.
You know, say Johnny is a bad kid. You know, that didn't do it, because Johnny's not a bad kid.
No, he's not a bad kid.
Johnny has problems.
That's right. He has issues. And like you said, a lot of the issues come from the environmental stressors. So we do have a question, and we'll address it in a minute, but I do want to read it before I lose it. It says, how would you suggest choosing a medication for a child with ADHD? So let me just pause for just a moment there, because typically society or professionals are so quick to diagnose a child with ADHD. I didn't like that, because these titles will follow you throughout your life. But Miss Isatou, and help me, because maybe you experienced too. So going into the children's homes and checking out the environment and things of that nature, what I discovered was it wasn't so much as ADHD as it was perhaps anxiety.
I would agree. I would agree with you.
Yeah.
You know? And a sense of chaos in the home.
Yeah.
So the child hasn't learned, when they're away from the home in school, how to behave in a more calm way.
Yes.
Now, I'm going to also have to go there and say, yes, there is such thing as ADHD.
Yes.
And sometimes, not the first line of treatment, but sometimes a little medication helps.
A little medication, yes. It's been statistically proven that it does help, because it helps you to focus, you know, enough to be able to learn. You know, so going back to Carolyn's question, and I'm going to propose this to you. I know what I would say, but it says, how would you suggest choosing a medication for a child with ADHD? And the child is 10.
Well, I wouldn't choose a medication, because I'm not a doctor. You know, I would do counseling first, not just one time, not just a couple of weeks. I would have intervention from the school counselors. I would do all of those things. And then if the behavior is getting to the point where it's causing significant trouble, then I would discuss with the doctor, what are my options?
That's good.
You know, because you don't just want to go in for the strongest medication. And the reality is, when you start putting a child on medication, you should really start at the lowest dose and be patient.
Be patient, yes.
Because sometimes it works quickly, and sometimes it's going to be a trial and error trying to get the right dosage. And remember, just because your child is on medication now doesn't mean they have to be on medication the rest of their life.
That's right, yeah.
Because the more they learn skills to regulate their behavior, the less they will need the medication.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, that's real good. And also, I love what we call medication management. A lot of times parents will get their children on medication, but then they won't follow up.
Right.
You know, and they're not talking to the prescribing physician to say, hey, you know, my child is doing this, my child is sleeping too much or not sleeping enough, and their moods are still dysregulated or whatever. It's called management. So now you become a part of the team. The parent becomes a part of the professional team in talking with the doctors to see, because sometimes they may need to switch to meds. Sometimes they may need to titrate and reduce, you know, the meds that their child is on. So the parent plays a very significant role in helping to reduce and manage your child's symptoms. Now, what do you think about sugar and ADHD?
You know, the fact is, sugar is not good for anybody.
Say that again. Say it again. One more time, Miss Isatou.
You know, even as adult, you know, sometimes you get a big piece of cake or a big, and you just feel all jumpy and hyper. So you can just imagine what that's doing to the child.
Oh my gosh.
The child.
Yes.
And if they don't have a balanced diet, if it's rush, you know, here's some cookies or here's some candies rather than here's an apple.
Yes.
You know, I can see where that could have an effect on the child.
Absolutely.
You know, and rev up their system.
Yes.
You know, so proper nutrition is very, very, very important.
We have to give our brain something to
yes,
work with.
Yes. Yeah.
What grieves me, oh, thank you, Marvin. He says, beautiful Kim. Oh, well, thank you so much. Anyway, I got distracted there. You know, that's my husband. So, you know what grieves me is to see little babies walking around with big cans of pop.
Oh, my goodness. And sometimes they give them the Coke, you know, that has caffeine.
Can you believe that?
Yes,
I'm like, now this is your child is like your prized possession. Right. It's like taking acid and pouring it in your car, or I mean, doesn't it actually eat acid, Coke off the battery of a car?
I think I've heard that. I think I've heard that, but I can't drink that stuff.
And you're giving it to your babies, and their brains are like freshly whipped up cake batter.
Like sponge that just soaking everything in that comes.
Their brains are not even done yet. I mean, why would you do that? Because ADHD has everything to do with your prefrontal lobe. Mm-hmm. You know, so your prefrontal lobe, this is how we make judgments and decisions, and you know, we need it for every aspect of life. So you have to give your child a good start.
And you know that prefrontal lobe take a long time to develop. I mean, practically until they're in their 20s. Yep. So if you're giving them the wrong kind of nutrition at a young age, the wrong kind of environmental stimulus at that, you know, whoa.
Yes.
They're off to a bad start.
That's right. And you said environmental stimulus. Mm-hmm. Children are, like you said, sponges. You know, from like, 0 to 7, it's like you're on record. And you're just taking in everything. They don't have any coping skills till they get with us to learn how to fight what's going on, all of that negative energy and all that stuff going around. Kids don't know how to deal with that, so instead they just absorb all of that. And it comes out as anxiety, it comes out as maladaptive behavior and nervousness, and now the child can't focus in school.
And then, unfortunately, they have all this extra energy, and the teacher said, Johnny is bad. You know, put him on medication, send him to detention, send him home because he's disrupting the class. Well, yes, he's disrupting the class, but sending him home to sit down and watch TV all day, or being out of class, so when he comes back, guess what? He's behind.
That's right.
And so what he's going to do, he's going to make more trouble because he doesn't know what you're talking about.
Self-esteem.
Right.
So that is not the answer. And a lot of times the teachers want them on medication just to make their job easier.
Right.
You know, so what are some other childhood diagnoses? We talked, the most popular one, I think, is ADHD.
Well, another big one is, of course, the autism. Being on the autism spectrum. And I'm so glad that they now call it a spectrum, because it is not one thing. It's a really, really wide variety. And people on the spectrum, there are people who are very, very, very smart, but their social skill is poor. There are people that are regular and they may be good at one thing, but it's usually the social interaction, the emotional connection with other people that challenges them. Now, you know, the people on the severe end of the autism spectrum, you know, they may not ever be able to talk or communicate.
Correct, yes.
But even those people, there are treatment that can help them to be more functional.
What treatment would you use for someone who has autism?
I would go to the emotional regulation. Because the children that I work with that had autism, the biggest problem for them was emotional
dysregulation.
You know, I'm breaking down, I'm crying. Why? Because Johnny looked at me funny. or somebody comes by and sit with me and want to play with my toy, and I don't want that, and so I throw the toy.
Yes.
It's
yes.
like, okay. Remember, Miss Kim, use your words.
Use your words. Yes.
We used to say that all the time.
Yes.
Okay.
Use
and
your
to
words.
teach the child how to use their words to express themselves. And one of the things that we did in the preschool classes, that we had to teach the other children how to interact.
That's right.
You can't just come over and hug Johnny.
Right.
He doesn't like.
Yeah.
He doesn't like to be touched.
Yeah.
Well, why? Well, he doesn't like it. So, or if you want to come and play with him, ask
him first. Yes.
So, and the same thing go for the parents. Oftentimes, I think parents are just lost. What do I do with my child? Fortunately, nowadays, there's a school that specializes in autism.
Yes.
So there's
special needs.
Right. There's a lot more resources out there, and it's very important for the parents to get not only the service for the children, but to be educated about what's going on with their child. And people with autism goes on to get their PhD.
That's right.
They get their computer scientists,
Yes,
their
yes.
whatever. Their social skill may never get up
That's
to
right.
to the top level.
But like you said, some of them are highly functioning.
Yeah, so that's a big one, and I know sometimes that's very painful
for the parents.
For the parents, because sometimes they have strange behavior.
Yes,
and they in the
they
public,
don't know what to do with it.
Right, and it's embarrassing. And, you said, my child have a problem. Yeah.
And this is why oftentimes in therapy we try to normalize the behavior, because it is their norm. It may be outside of the norm, but it is their norm. And the parents, you talk about DBT and things like that. We teach them radical acceptance. It's radical acceptance. Yes, you wish your child was this way, but it's not who you have. This is who you have. So it's radical acceptance. Shout out to Marvon Forte, my sister-in-law. Happy Friday to you. Derek Richardson, my cousin. Hello this morning. Regina Saunders. Hello to you. Brittany Bozeman. Good morning to you all. Feel free to chime in. So we are talking about the plethora of mental health issues. Right now, we're talking about mental health issues in our babies. So we're asking you as parents, do not become discouraged, but be encouraged and get your child the help that they need, but also educate yourself so you know that you know who you have and you know how to deal with who you have. So right now we're talking about autism. We've talked about ADHD.
Shout out to Miss Gaddis and to Cindy.
Good morning to you.
Yes.
Feel free to chime in. So we're talking about childhood issues and
one of the big problems that children are facing now, we mentioned it before, anxiety.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I don't know what the statistic is, but probably every other child from preschool through high school through college have some level of anxiety.
Indeed. Even our geriatric population.
True. But people don't understand how children react to stress. And again, like you said, they don't come with coping skills.
Right.
And so they don't know what's going on with them. So when I get a young person that have anxiety, the first thing I do is give them the brain lesson.
The brain lesson.
Brain lesson.
Well, do tell.
The brain lesson. Okay, first of all, I said, I have these little rubber brain, and I said, right in the middle there's this little teeny part of your brain that looks like about a pea. It's called the amygdala.
Come on, talk about it.
And the amygdala, first of all, the amygdala is a liar.
It is, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
The amygdala is what, back in the caveman days, would tell you, there's a snake, run!
The reptilian brain.
Yes. But now, the amygdala can tell you, there's a snake, and you get all tense and anxious, but guess what?
There's no snake.
It's just a stick.
Uh-huh.
The amygdala can tell you, you're in danger, you're in danger. If you don't pass this test, your life is going to be ruined.
Yes, yes,
You know? So, the rest of the brain is trying to tell you, no, calm down.
Yes.
Calm down. You know, because the amygdala is so small, but it's the part of the brain that gets a lot of attention. It keeps sending you these messages.
Fight or flight, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Or freeze.
And until you learn to say, wait a minute, amygdala,
yes,
I want to really check it out.
So we have to be cognizant of what's going on in our brain.
Right.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And so when you take, and this is why we breathe, to reduce anxiety.
Yes.
Yeah, you know. So when you take a minute and stop and say, okay, let me look. It's just a stick. I'm okay.
Right. Yes.
Or okay, I'm anxious about this test. I'm scared that I'm going to fail. What proactive action can I do?
Yes.
Okay, I better get myself, hit those books and study.
Yes.
Yes. You know?
Well, you know, that this has been my supervisor forever, so she already know the drama and trauma I went through taking them national books. So I had to drive to the testing site and sit out in the parking lot. Then I went in and looked at where the test was going to be, and because I know that I have test anxiety, so I have to do what I have to do to reduce and manage my stress too. So that flight or freeze is a real thing.
And you know, sometimes parents get really impatient with their teenagers because they say, "Well, it ain't no big deal." You know, why you always worried? Well, they don't choose to be anxious.
That's right.
You know, it's a matter that they don't know, they don't have the skills.
Right, exactly.
To regulate what they are feeling and to look at it again rationally.
That's right.
Okay, it's not going to be the end of the world if this boy break up with me.
Yeah.
It may feel like it.
It does feel like it. So real quick, and before I make this statement, I want to give a shout out to Minister Lauderdale, to J.R. Edwards, to my mother, the beautiful Ida Trout, and to my big sis, Vicky Trout as well. So I want to talk a little bit about the complex trauma, you know, because for these people, you always have a fight or flight occurrence going on. So the amygdala is used to firing off.
Right.
Okay. So you're right. It does lie to you. So it's like how I write. I don't write very well. So my O's may look like a little 6 or something, but everybody knows what this O is. So when you see a stick, the amygdala is going to say it's a snake because it's familiar to it.
Right.
You know, so what happens is that this is a repeated cycle, firing off. Some people live in environmental conditions where there's shootings going on or fires going on. So as adults, all we know is it becomes normal for this amygdala to shoot off and to misfire. I'll call it misfire.
Right.
You know, but then what it does, it tells your brain to release the corresponding chemical reaction. So now we're full of adrenaline, but there's no real emergency. What are we going to do with that pent up energy?
Right. And you know, you talk about the environment. Think about a young child. And I had a client like this where, you know, she was always tense and serious. And, you know, we talk about her. She said, well, you know, I can hear shooting in where I live. You know, I never go outside and play. I said, well, do you go for a walk with? No, we're not allowed to go because it's too dangerous. Yeah. Can you imagine living like that every single day?
No.
Now, inside the home, it may be calm, but outside the environment,
yes.
So she goes around ready for for the flight or fight all the time.
Yes,
so
that's
her body's
right.
tense. She's anxious.
Yes, yes,
You know,
yes.
and you teach her skills to, okay, you hear a sound out there, it's not necessarily a gunshot.
Right.
Right,
yes.
You are safe where you are right now.
Yes, yes.
It's
called mindfulness.
Right, yes, yes. You don't have to live this constant state of fear.
Right.
And that's biggest thing what anxiety is about. Anxiety is about, being fearful of what's going to happen.
That's right. Right.
Anxiety is about worrying about what happened in the past.
That's right.
That may or may not happen again, that you can't go back and fix anyway.
Yeah, a sense of being out of control.
Right.
Yeah, so that's good stuff. And when we work for minority behavioral health, and we would have to, if we could not do anything with the child, we would have to refer them to St. Vincent's.
Right.
And St. Vincent's breaks my heart too. And, it's just a sad scenario because we could not give the children the time that we need, and we definitely need the parents' cooperation too. Because St. Vincent's is a wonderful facility for children to go to if they need to go there. But I just believe that with the proper coping mechanisms, the help of the parents and the teachers as well, because some of the teachers are very misinformed. And sometimes they exacerbate the whole scenario as well, But, it's called teamwork. It takes a whole village to raise these babies.
And the thing is, I think it's important, even as professional, to know our limitation.
Know our limitations.
If you're working with a young person or a child and you see that what you are doing is not producing the result.
Yes.
The wise thing to do is to go to the next level of service.
Yes, standard of care.
And St. Vincent, when the children go there, they have one-on-one. They have people that are working with their behavior in a more consistent way than if we're just there for an hour.
That's right.
There's somebody there for the 4 or 5 hours that they're there. And I know sometimes parents will say, well, I don't want to do that to my child. Well, the thing is, you have to know, okay, is your child getting the service?
That's right.
Is their behavior improving?
That's right.
Is the anxiety decreasing? Is the behavioral problem changing, or is it just the same? If it's not changing, then what? It's like medicine. If it's not working,
go to the next step.
Go to the next step.
That's right. And so what I basically hear you saying is that a lot of times the parents' ego is getting away.
Or lack of knowledge.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yes.
And do your research.
Right.
Your research.
Right.
Good morning, Cheryl English, and also to Minister Sam Shepard. Good morning to you all. So this is real talk regarding our babies. If your child needed glasses, would you not take them to get the help that they need? If they needed a hearing aid, would you not? Mental health is no different. So what Miss Isatou is saying, to get the child the help that it needs. If one method doesn't work, there's other methods. So we want to give our children a good foundation and a good springing board, because what happens is that these little children turn into adults, and they turn into adults with the same issues that they had going on as children. All right?
Well, I used to work with ex-convicts at one point in my career.
Okay.
And I started listening to their backstory.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And when you hear about how their lives were, the trauma, you talked about the trauma.
Yes.
The trauma
yes.
that some of these people experience as children.
That's
from
right.
their environment, from their parents, from their mom's boyfriend or their sister's girlfriend.
Yes.
And I have to say, sometimes the abuser was a female.
Yeah, that's right. It's true. Yeah.
And so these people are traumatized from the time they were children and did not receive services that they need. So what do they learn? Hey, okay, before the world get me, I'm going to get the world.
That's right.
I'm going to use drugs. I'm going to steal.
They try to self-medicate.
Right. I'm going to steal. I'm going to, be abusive to other people. because that's what I saw all my life.
That's all they know.
And it's not hopeless.
That's right.
When they get to therapy, you can still teach them to look at their life. Yes, this is where you're coming from, but it doesn't have to be where you're going. And you can make a logical choice. Where do I want to go from here?
That is correct. And you know, Miss Isatou, and I'm going to say hello to Pastor Cheryl English and also to Cheryl Hughes. Thank you for tuning in. And feel free to chime in as well. You got any shout outs over there?
Angela Menfield, yes. Okay, I think I've said hi to everybody.
But we're talking about the trauma as children, and now we're adults. And here I go again. And I know y'all gonna demonize me again, but I got to say what I know works. Do you know what I'm getting ready to go to?
No. But go there anyway, girlfriend. Go ahead.
Hypnotherapy.
Okay.
Because in hypnotherapy, now we've already grown over our trauma. We're adults now, but we suffer ABCD as children. So what hypnotherapy does is able to take you back to those childhood traumas and bring healing in those areas. Why? Because all this trauma now is in your subconscious mind. Now, I love some talk therapy. I think talk therapy is very, very important. But hypnotherapy is a deeper level of healing because, Ms. Isatou, what it does, it's like a computer system. Okay, so a person is running on old programming. This is why we have the anxiety. This is why the amygdala keeps misfiring. They're running off old system. So what hypnotherapy does is able to put in a new system or update the old system and put in new conclusions about yourself. You know, so I love hypnotherapy because it worked for me, and I have had wonderful success with other people as well.
Well, my go-to is mindfulness.
And why is that, Miss Isatou?
Well, you know, even the Bible say, as a man thinketh, so is he. You know, thoughts are not things, but our anxiety, our stress, even our depression is not so much based on what we experience, but the messages we tell ourselves.
That's it.
You know,
yes, ma'am.
How awful. I shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Yeah.
What if?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, you know, I had such a bad childhood. You know, I'll never ever.
Yes.
So mindfulness says the past is the past. You can't go back and fix it.
That's
the future is an illusion. You know,
no guarantee.
All we have is this, I call it millisecond.
Millisecond is right.
Millisecond.
Yes.
So mindfulness said, live in the present. Now, this is part of it. Living in the present doesn't mean it's going to be always happy.
That's right.
Because you know, sometimes you have to sit with that pain.
Amen. Yes.
You know, you acknowledge, yeah, I'm in pain.
That's right. Sit with it.
And, okay, this is what I'm going to do about it. What kind of control do I have about it? Can I make a change? Or is it out of my control? Do I just have to accept that's the way it is? Now, a big part of mindfulness, of course, is breathing.
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 You know you are. I beat you over the head with this deep breathing. So simple but profound.
Yes. And you know, when we always have our breath with us.
Yes.
You know, when we get anxious, what do? We hyperventilate.
Yes.
So we don't send enough oxygen to the brain.
Yes.
Now, I tell you how deep this mindfulness and breathing and meditation is. They have done scientific MRIs of the brains of monks, and you can actually see the change in the brain when they're meditating.
That's good
and
stuff.
when they're breathing. Now, you know, the thing is, you don't need any special equipment to breathe. You know, you do it all the time. In mindfulness, you're conscious of what you're doing. So there's something called conscious breathing. So you breathe in, and you pause, and you exhale. Or you can just breathe normally,
that feels good.
but you focus on your breathing.
Yes.
And mindfulness also said, don't just go through your life like I call it, like a drunkard, not noticing anything. Pay attention.
Yes.
You can be mindful even washing dishes. You can feel the warmth of the water. You can feel the bubbles of the soap.
Yes.
You can take a mindfulness walk, and you're noticing the birds.
Yes.
You're noticing the clouds. You're not
the
just
breeze blowing on your face and hair.
So when you live in the present,
yes,
lots of your stress will be gone because you're not worrying about what's gone.
That's right.
And you're not fearful of the future. That's not saying you shouldn't plan for the future.
There's a difference between planning and worrying.
Right. And that's not saying you should not learn from your past.
That's right. That's right.
It's saying you cannot live in the past.
Because that brings depression.
Right. It's gone. So, okay, this is my situation. What control I have over it. And oftentimes the word is, I have no control. I cannot change the situation, but I can change my thought.
That's right.
And if I change
yourself.
If I change my thought,
yes,
I change my life.
Come on now. That'll yes. Yes.
Change your thinking.
And if you change your thinking, you can change your actions.
That's right. You got it. You got it, girl.
Yes. I love mindfulness and the deep breathing. I'm telling you, because when we don't deep breathe and we're stressed out, we're constricting our blood vessels. And like you said, the oxygen can't get to the brain.
Right.
This is why we say things we don't want to say. We do things we don't want to do. But scientifically, once you do the deep breathing, we're forcing at least 30% more oxygen to our brain. And another go-to I love is meditation.
Definitely. and meditation go right along with mindfulness. And meditation is not a new thing. Meditation, if you look at practically across the world, every spiritual practice has meditation.
Yes.
And meditation could be just as simple as sitting still.
Yeah.
Shutting out all of the
yes.
Now sometimes that's challenging, and I always tell my clients, if your mind wander, don't fight yourself. I can't do this meditation. Just gently bring it back.
Bring it back.
And again, that's where the breathing comes in. You're trying to meditate.
Yes.
If you try and focus on your breathing,
Yes.
And if you get good, then you can really sit there and really shut out the whole world. But,
I had a client that come in. All right, Tony Bozeman, Marvin C. Bozeman. I am Kimberly Bozeman. My practice is at 1011 East Jenkins Avenue. And in the spring, I will be having cultivating and nurturing your inner child. So definitely keep your eyes open for that. So I had a client to come in, and they were so anxious. That, you know what I mean? We couldn't really get started because they were, sitting on the edge of the seat and rocking back and forth, and they da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So I know that I couldn't get them into mindfulness the normal way, so I have chimes. It's like three chimes, So I did hit the chimes, and I had her listen to see when the vibrations. Yeah, the vibrations, and it worked wonders. So there's all kind of things that we can do. You have more control than what you realize.
When I used to work with the little ones, I used to love it when we would do breathing, we are stretching like animals, get the, you do the lion roar, or you let your body just go limp, like a gorilla, so there's so much thing in mindfulness. It's not just necessarily sitting still, because some people can't sit still.
That's right, yeah.
And I had a young man, and he's into some kind of hard rock music, and I'm trying to get some soft music, but that's what he was into.
Yeah.
So you know what? We just went on YouTube and got one of the songs, and that worked for him.
Everyone's different.
He
There's
sat
not a
there
cookie
and-
cutter recipe.
That's right.
you
And
know?
that's the nice thing about mindfulness, the breathing, relaxation. You can program it for yourself.
That's right.
And I suggest to people, go to your app on your on your phone.
Yeah.
And look for mindfulness.
Yes.
Look for relaxation. I mean, they have lots and lots and lots of
Yes.
different. And try them. You know, this one may not work for you, but this other one might.
That's
you
right.
know,
That's right.
You know, people use Headspace, Calm,
That's right.
mindfulness. You
Yes.
know, just find something that you can take a little time. People say, "Oh, I don't have time for all that meditation stuff."
But do you want to be anxious and nervous and you know what I mean?
Listen, you're driving your car.
Mm-hmm.
You're washing your dishes.
Yes. Breathe. You're already breathing.
You can do it consciously. You can breathe.
Yes.
You can be conscious of what you're doing. One of the things that I use with some of my clients that get anxious when they're driving to work and I said, okay, use your mindfulness.
Yes.
Just focus. What are you doing? I'm driving. I'm going to work. What's the other person doing? Okay, I have to be conscious of them, but I don't have to worry. I don't have to say, that stupid blah, blah, blah,
Right.
blah, blah person.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know, and you don't have to be tense. Just make a conscious effort.
Mm-hmm.
The traffic is slow. If you get upset and mad, the traffic is still going to be
My
slow.
question is always, how do I want to arrive? You know, and I can do something about that. Blessings to you, Bishop Joel Trout, my cousin. So there is a question that Ms. Isatou says, what about seniors and their anxiety after losing their loved one?
Okay. With seniors, the biggest problem is probably depression.
Uh-huh.
And the thing is, you have to look at an older person. First of all, they've started to lose their health.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Their friends are gone.
Yeah.
You know, if they live
Yeah.
old enough.
True story.
Sometimes their home that they grew up in, you know, they may have to downsize because the kids are gone and it's too big. So all of us have a series of loss.
Yes.
And by the time we get old, and I'm old, I know, you know,
We're listening.
you know, we have experienced a lot of loss, and we become fearful of our mortality.
Uh-huh.
You know, oh my goodness, Joe, he's only 2 years younger than me. He's dead already,
Okay.
And then the loneliness also step in.
Okay.
You know, your
Okay.
spouse or your partner might have died. Your children have moved away. You know, and so you get depressed. And of course, the health problem.
Yes. Yes.
You know, so again, helping the older person have a sense of hope, have a sense that your life meant something. Your life means something right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
and things have changed, yes.
So would you say that reminiscent therapy
Oh,
helps?
definitely. You know, tell me about what and
The old, because you know they
yeah.
have a lot of stories.
Oh yes, oh yeah. Even when I'm doing grief therapy with older people, I said, okay, tell me about, you know, your husband or your sister. And sometimes, you know, the tears come, but that's okay.
And I have them bring in pictures too.
Right. But by the time they get through talking about it, they're laughing.
Yes.
You know,
yes,
they're saying,
yes.
well, they may not be here physically anymore, but they're still with me.
Yes.
They're still with me.
Yes. Yes.
You know?
So there is hope for
Yes.
for our seniors who have lost a loved one.
And one of the most important thing I think for seniors and for their family is for them not to get lonely.
How do they prevent that?
Okay, so find some kind of group,
Find a group.
church. You know, I know Columbus have all these recreation centers
Yes.
that have things.
Senior,
Right.
yeah.
You know, even something as simple as Meals on Wheels.
Uh-huh.
You know, the
Because
process.
that's interaction.
Somebody brings your food,
Yes,
and you
ma'am.
get to talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, know your neighbors.
Okay.
You know, talk. And it doesn't have to be a big, heavy
And what
conversation.
about a pet?
Oh, definitely. Well, pet, but they can be challenging too.
She has a young puppy.
Oh
She's
yeah,
a young
yeah.
puppy.
Yeah.
You know.
You don't want to get a rambunctious dog to a senior because they will wear them out to get on their nerves.
Yes, that's what my mom says.
But having pet to care for, getting involved with young people, with children.
That's good stuff.
You know,
good stuff.
Spiritual connection to your church, your mosque, or your synagogue. You know, where you're meeting other people.
That's right. That's
You know,
good.
interacting with other people. Get out of the house and go for a walk.
That's right.
You don't have to
yeah.
walk 10 blocks.
Mm-hmm.
You can just walk.
Get
a block.
out the house.
Get out.
Yeah.
And please get out of the bed.
Yes.
Because lots of seniors sometimes there's pain, yes, and so they just lay in the bed.
Right, right.
And you know what? The more you lay in the bed, the worse you feel.
That's right. And that's why I often say take it by force and not by choice.
Right, right.
You know, because you cannot or should not allow your emotional mind to run your day. You will never get out of the bed. So real quick, because we have like 5 minutes,
Whoa,
Miss
time went by
Isatou.
fast.
When you're having fun, right? This is Shop Talk. This is my girl right here. All right. So can you speak to us a little bit about dementia?
Okay, dementia is not one thing. People often think, when they say dementia, they think of Alzheimer's. But there's also dementia that's caused by stroke. And dementia really means a decline in your cognitive functioning.
Mm-hmm. That can come from various things.
Right. And dementia, actually, people think of dementia as an old person's disease.
Right.
But that's not true. You can get dementia literally at any age.
That's right.
You could have a bad health problem.
Mm-hmm.
And
a TBI.
Right, yes, you could have
which is a
strokes.
traumatic brain injury.
Right. You know, you can have a mini stroke.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the thing with dementia, for the family, it's about being patient.
Yes.
Because oftentimes as people are losing their memory, well, and I think because they're older too, they would tell you the same thing over
Several
and
times.
over
Several
and over.
times. So you just have to act like
Right.
you never heard it before.
Right. But it's not. You know, I think that's why I like children and older people. Because remember when you had to read the same story over and
Yes.
over and over to your preschooler? Well, people with dementia sometimes tell you the same story. And if it's progressive Alzheimer's, there's going to come a time when their behavior can change radically.
Yes. Yes.
You know, some people who were sweet people now have a mouth like a sailor.
Yeah. Yes.
You know,
yes.
sometimes
because does it change your brain?
the brain
structures
is shriveling up and it's not functioning right.
Now, does this happen in dementia and Alzheimer's or just Alzheimer's?
I think probably mostly Alzheimer's, but in any of these dementia will affect your
brain functioning,
your memory, and your ability to take care of yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's another thing that becomes difficult for family member. You know, your family member may soil themselves and don't even pay attention. And there comes a time when with Alzheimer, they may not know who you are.
That's right.
So
yes.
if you're in a situation like this, it's important to have pictures of the family around, and don't ask them, you know, about tell them, you know, I'm Mary, I'm your daughter.
Okay.
You know,
so don't even ask.
You know, don't try and have them remember. You know, oh, this is Joe, that's your grandson.
Okay.
And when you come back next time, they may not remember. So, I want to tell you about Joe, your grandson.
So is there is there medication I think it's a rhetorical question for me, but for the population, is there medication that will slow down dementia? Can you stop it?
No, you can't stop it, but you can slow it down. And more than just medication, activity, because you still want to keep those brain cells going. And sometimes when there's a lot of severe behavior, they may give medication to help manage the behavior.
Is that more of a mood, to stabilize the mood?
Well, sometimes more than that, because sometimes a person with Alzheimer's can behave almost psychotic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, you don't want them to hurt themselves or hurt them others. But, that's not everybody. That's just some people.
Yes, I was reading a research article that was saying that so there was this guy that had dementia really bad, and what he did every day, he was riding a stationary bike, and he had a dictionary. Oh, did you read it too?
No, I read about a lady that she started writing her journey through dementia, and she felt very strongly that staying on task with that helped slow down the dementia.
Exactly.
Yes, yeah.
So basically what we're saying is there are things that you can do. Please do not cooperate with these diagnoses. I often say you can have a diagnosis, but the diagnosis does not have to have you. Mm-hmm. Okay, so there's things that you can do to ward off all of this stuff. So with dementia, I'm telling you, to learn new things.
Right. Because you want to get those brain cells keep working. If you're just laying in the bed looking at the ceiling, what they said, if you don't use it, you lose it.
Yes, yes. And that's the truth. And that's with the brain is a muscle too. Mm-hmm. And the same rule applies in our physical body. If we don't use it, it'll get mushy on you.
Yeah. And I want to say one last thing.
Mm-hmm.
Please remember that mental illness is a biological thing.
Yes.
If somebody have a heart attack or heart problem or high blood pressure, we don't shun them. If we have heart problem, we go to see the doctor.
That's right.
Mental illness is about the chemistry in the body. It's about the brain.
Yes.
Remember, it is a biological disease that is treatable.
That's right. That is
it's treatable. That is treatable.
So thank you so much for Miss Isatou, my supervisor always and forever, for coming in today. You're listening live to Talk Therapy Live with your girl, Kimberly B. I'm located at 1011 East Jenkins Avenue, Columbus, 43207. And my phone number for appointments is 614-669-5115. Thank you and God bless you.
And thanks, Miss Kim, for having me. This was fun.
Anytime.